Hi guys, welcome back. So today, surprise, surprise, a third list for the SEC to add the Chinese companies on the delisting list, and this time it's Baidu and IQ and also Futu and so on. So before it was just some companies that are not as popular, not as known, like BGNE or Weibo that I didn't care about. But this time it's Baidu and Futu that I personally really like. So this is building up my anxiety because I feel like it's getting into the mainstream ones, the ones that we care about. And I really worry that soon it's gonna be putting popular ones like Neo, Xiaopeng or Alibaba and so on. This news just drove Baidu to tank 8-point-something% today with a gap down. A few days ago, I said Baidu out of all the Chinese stocks were actually the only one that could climb back up to the previous platform of consolidation, and now today with the gap down broken. And it looks like it's not finished selling yet. So I think it's really too bad because Baidu is a good company. A lot of investors, including retail investors and also the US institutions also own this. And the thing is, recently we hear so many good news about the progress of the discussion or the coming agreement between the Chinese and US SEC, giving us so many hope. But then next thing you know, bang, another delist notice, and with the stocks that we actually care about and some of us own. This is why I kept saying that I think I cannot trust any news nowadays. And so far, we only hear empty talks and no actual solution yet. And for Baidu, it might be a little bit more sensitive too because they own a lot of the HD map data that there's no way the Chinese government would be okay to share. So when they keep saying that they're going to come up with a solution, I really don't know how. The only solution I can think of is for the US side to be okay with it, to compromise, not being transparent. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen because the thing that I can be almost 100% sure about is that Chinese government is not okay to share these. Even without this rule, this law was made 10 to 20 years ago when US and China were on good terms. So even then, China was not okay to share the auditing books. So think about right now, right? So we all thought that when President Biden takes over, the two countries would have good relationship, maybe go back to before, but little that we knew, it did not happen. But maybe even worse, we see more and more sanctions, heavier and heavier. So I guess that's not gonna happen. And if China was not okay to share the books when US-China were on good terms, how would they be okay with it suddenly now that the two countries are getting more and more intense? And China is obviously picking Russian side. And now China and Russia is forming kind of a closer relationship against US, then the tension becomes more and more tense. So this is why recently all those news about the progress, I only see a lot of empty talks, a lot of empty promise, and not actual solutions. That's why I would stay more cautious until I see something real. A lot of us worry the same thing would happen to Neo and Xiaopeng, and I think it's not wrong to worry about that because a little bit similar with Baidu, Neo and Xiaopeng are also involved in the HD map, some sensitive data, especially if they are working so heavily on the autonomous drive, it would involve a lot of data collecting, something that China would not be okay to share. So I'm really not sure how this auditing issue would turn out. But what I see recently is the trend of money moving to OTC. For example, BYD, you can obviously see the share price movement, and I think it's getting much less affected because it's mainly listed in Hong Kong and China, and only the OTC ADR shares traded in US that allow international investors to purchase. So I think this trend would continue, and the OTC share might be a bit more safe and more immune to this delisting issue. It's not completely immune, but a little bit less affected. So I think we might continue to see the OTC shares would perform more stabilized or better than the ones listed in Nasdaq within the same sector. So right now, we might continue to see BYD's share strength performing better than NIO and Xiaopeng. And same thing applied to the internet sector as well. You can see that Meituan, MGNGF, the OTC listed and the main company listed in Hong Kong, might be also performing better than, for example, Pinduoduo. They're both internet platforms, but PDD is not listed in Hong Kong and has no OTC shares to carry that and would worry investors more. So that's why you can clearly see the share price movement that Meituan is actually performing better than PDD, even though they both reported earning recently and the earning of PDD is obviously better than Meituan. So I think this trend is something we need to keep in mind for. This is why 1 to 2 weeks ago I posted this video that says buy on bad news and sell on good news, because we have been seeing so many good news to push the share price higher. But when I look back in the past, when the stock market was at the real bottom, there was not so many good news to run up like this, because the institutions would try to grab the cheap shares. So there would be in fact a lot of bad news, or they would just be no news and silently buying those dips, and the good news would already shoot it to the moon and never come back. This is why lately the strategy for me is just to mostly stay put, maybe take a break, take it easy and wait for opportunities. We don't have to grab every penny from the stock market, especially right now. I don't think we should be driven by any of the news. I don't trust any of the news anymore, at least for the short to medium term. And to give more data on these 2 days, for the HSI to rebound like more than 3,000 points in 2 days. Last time this could happen so strong, so much and so fast, it was during the 2008 financial crisis. But then when we take a look at the S&P 500, I don't see that it's reflecting that. Especially the recent parabolic move up is so much for the purpose to destroy all the put options. So this strong rebound at this fast speed, usually or most likely it happens in a bear market. Now for the psychology of the market, if I have to put in one sentence to summarize it, it is that the stock market always drop until you're too afraid to buy and rise until you're too afraid to sell. So if you wonder if the market has bottomed, then ask yourself if you are too afraid to buy or not. Or ask around, ask your friends. And if you wonder if the market has peaked, then you should ask yourself if you right now feel too afraid to sell. Too afraid to sell means you're so afraid after you sell it would shoot up to the sky and not wait for you, not give you any other chance to buy it back. That's all I want to share right now. The market is full of uncertainties. I think there is nothing wrong to take a little break. Stock market is not closing for the month or next month. There is lots of chances to make money, make profit. But when I don't have certainties, I prefer to wait a bit. Okay, that's it for today. And if you have enjoyed this video, please give me a big like and write me a great comment, and I'll see you in my next video. That's it guys. Hope you can find my videos helpful. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and give me a big like. Thank you.